I've been asked a lot since I comment a lot on politics, politicians, political commentators, cultural commentators, how to tell when someone is just a hack, when they're just an apparatchik. How do you discern when you are listening to somebody who is commenting on world events or politics, whether they're a partisan hack who doesn't actually care about what the truth is, they're just playing for their team, and how to tell whether or not somebody's actually engaging in critical analysis? Exhibit A. This guy's name is Benny Johnson. He's like a right-wing online personality who allegedly does political analysis. But as you'll see in this example I'm about to show you, he doesn't actually do political analysis. He does water carrying for his side. So he was on Piers Morgan and he started talking about how our presidents were draft dodgers, which I think most people would be totally fine with and agree with because they are. But you'll notice, and listen closely to what he says, there's a certain president that he fails to include on that list.
America has been led by draft dodgers for my entire life, Piers. My entire life. You've had Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Joe Biden's a draft dodger, John Kerry's a draft dodger. None of these people have ever served, right?
Aren't you forgetting someone? There we go. I knew we were forgetting someone. Bro, 5 times. He dodged the draft 5 times. And if you want to defend that, you go ahead and be my guest. But this is the anatomy of a hack. This guy pretends to be real. He's a cultural commentator. He's a political critic and commenter. No, he's not. He's an apparatchik. He's a paid shill. He doesn't actually believe anything or have any political opinions or beliefs of his own. And how you know that is by what I just showed you. If you cannot engage in honest political analysis that includes the criticism and the critique of even those you like or voted for, then you are not engaging in analysis, you're engaging in propaganda. And if you want to be a propagandist, go ahead. But don't pretend you're anything else other than that. It's just so fucking cringe and tired. And I can't believe that neither of them pointed it out, Dave Smith or Destiny. And of course, Piers, but do you condemn us? Didn't say anything. When you are looking for political analysts and voices that you can trust to talk about what's happening in the world, Never trust anybody or take anyone seriously who can't engage in real debate and real criticism or analysis of their faves. Because if you're going to somebody that is just purely sycophantic and is only going to talk about those that they oppose and leave out major parts of a discussion or a story or a person because it doesn't mesh with their political aims, I promise you, you do not want to be getting your information from them. Listen to people who are going to give you the whole story, who are going to engage in critical analysis, even if you disagree with them, where they are willing to criticize everyone in power, not just those they disagree with. I got one more example for you guys. So you all know, anybody who pays attention to politics anyway, who Tim Pool is. Very anti-cancel culture, very pro-free speech absolutism, and anti-war until it comes to Israel. Watch him in this clip admit that he doesn't actually give a shit about free speech because someone I didn't like said they also didn't believe in it.
For me, there was a formative moment where I met an activist that I had known for a long time, Occupy Wall Street, and he was a free speech guy, an internet guy. And then I was talking to him, and he's a hardcore leftist right now, commie. And he was like, I love the censorship. I'm glad it's happening. This is a great move in the right direction. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're the guy who's leading the charge on free speech. And he laughed, and he's like, yeah, for me. And then I was like, so those of us who actually believed in the idea of people being free speech, you never agree with us. And he chuckled, and he was just like, you guys are useful idiots. We were demanding the right to say the things we wanted to say, and you marched alongside us. And now that we have that power, we will shut you up. Yeah. And I was just like, wow. He said it to my face. A guy I've known for a long time. He was like, don't you understand what we're trying to do? And so now, my idea then became, okay, if you don't agree with free speech, I don't give it to you. If someone comes to me and says, I believe in free speech for everybody, even if I don't agree with them, I'll say, okay, then when you get censored, I will stand with you if you stand with me. The leftists say, we don't believe in free speech. I say, okay, then I won't defend you. You get what you ask for. Now we have these people who want violence and don't want people on the right to be able to protest. They want the universities to fund their psychotic ideologies. And I'm like, should we bestow upon them the rules they have asked for, which would be if a bunch of Trump supporters show up on campus to protest, they would demand these people are cracked over the truncheon. Should we then be like, okay, well, then Greg Abbott should arrest and remove the protesters trying to take over campus, and these people at Columbia should be removed because it's what they literally ask for in governance. This is trying to get you banned.
You got that? So he's pro-free speech, but selectively. If he doesn't like you, or he doesn't agree with you, or if he happened to meet a leftist who said they don't believe in it, well, then he takes it back. First of all, I don't even believe that story happened. Like, I straight up think he made it up. But even if it were true, that's not a principle. If your principles are selective and negotiable depending on how other people react, then you are a reactionary, not a principled person. I am pro free speech. I am pro our First Amendment. Yeah, there are some people that are on the left that are not pro free speech. That they think that depending on what's being said, that it should be censored as hate speech. But hate speech is also covered under the First Amendment. So you either believe in free speech or you don't. But if you don't, just say that. Don't come out here and pretend like you're all pro 1A and be all, I'm anti-war. That's the other thing I love, because this is about the Columbia protests. He pretends to be anti-war and then is cheering the state that are cracking down on these protesters for protesting against Israel's genocide in Gaza and the funding that not only our government gives them, but that institutions and universities are invested in. But he's anti-war. This genocide has been so clarifying on so many levels because there are so many people, especially on the right. I can think of a bunch just off the top of my head. People like Tim Pool, Glenn Beck, every single Congress member that's a Republican with the exception of Thomas Massey, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Dave Rubin, Bill Maher, all because Bill Maher's really on the right. Let's not get that twisted. Every single right-winger who has made themselves multimillionaires off of being free speech crusaders have revealed themselves to be total frauds. So at least it's been a very clarifying moment. Greg Abbott, who's the governor of Texas, literally signed a bill a couple years ago being like, unlike the cancel culture left, I protect free speech on campuses, okay? And now, like 5 minutes later, he's sending out troops to go crack the heads of protesters in Austin.